It is near the Boni Forest, close, almost north, about 100 miles away north. There is Boni Forest. God bless Africa. Miriam, bring it on. I like the jacket.
All right, let's just get into the headlines this morning. We start with the Star newspaper. The main headline, Ruto allies laugh off Uhuru's nod for Raila. Reports indicate DP has been relishing a contest where Odinga is backed by the state. So that is the main headline. And then the main pictorial there, Gideon Moi, my grand plan as your president. We saw what happened yesterday. Then on the front pages of the Daily Nation, the main headline, former IEBC bosses at center of 2022 poll. There were senior officials in the team of Wafula Chebukati led, which took charge of the 2017 elections. They left the commission in different circumstances, but are now back in charge of key offices that have a handle on next year's election. And so that is that. And state cracks down on Pakistani tourists. Uhuru hand in Raila's Mount Kenya foray. That's what we have there. And on the Standard newspaper, the main headline, Gideon's grand entry into the race. And up there, mystery over Pakistanis at night operation. Trader fined 881 million Kenya shillings over scam at fund. Ministry on the spot over illegal levy on diesel. And that is what we have on the newspapers this morning. Doc, back to you.
Thank you very much. Now, Miriam, thank you for bringing up those topics. I think all of us have seen. I will start by saying what I know about Gideon Moi's presidential bid. Even if Lake Victoria turns into dry land, there can be only one man who can deliver Kenya to the destiny. And that man will be Raila Amolo Odinga this time. And I thank Gideon Moi for trying and for showing that the party goes into coalition with other partner when it is a strong party mandated by its own delegates. The delegates' endorsement of Gideon Moi is a good sign for Raila Amolo Odinga, because it is very clear that you cannot have another president from the Rift Valley. I don't know whether you know that. And also it is very clear that you cannot have another vice president from the Rift Valley. Any analyst will tell you that either the Rift Valley can take the prime ministership. Closely monitoring what is happening in the parliament, the formation of government could be, BBI could have gone through the judges, and the judges must be wondering why the BBI lost a ground and Miriam it found legs in parliament. The speaker okayed the topic, the bill, which is going to be passed, discussed, that the ministers will be selected or picked from parliament MPs who can be answering questions. So basically we are implementing the BBI in a different format. So that is not a worry. You never know. We might have the prime minister. You never know what the Supreme Court might rule. Every day I wake up, in every morning, every sunshine, every winter, every snow, as it is threatening to snow now, there is always one thing that runs in my mind. And Miriam, you notice that I've changed the way I speak now. Some things are turning upside up, not down. I have got the mastery now to talk fluently without any hesitation. My hesitation wouldn't have come if I did not know that William Ruto might not be on the ballot, because there are so many hinges that must be closed for the door to close or to lock. So for me, what stood up, what has come out of the papers, and my fellow panelists will agree that Victoria cannot be turned into a dry land, because we don't know how deep it is. It's the only inland hot, freshwater lake. So there are some people, as you see yesterday, the lineup, your president will come from that lineup. And I'm telling you, you can see these people talk a lot to threaten on newspapers. But yesterday, all of them agreed that the guest of honor was was none other than the CIA guy, the man from Bondo. So let this guy, no, honestly, with all the honest, I'm now speaking calmly because I've only taken tea this morning. And since I am on intermittent fasting, I eat only twice in a day. And I want to speak with all frankness. Give this guy from Bondo a chance. Let's see how his administration would be 6-7 elections. Surely, Nana Addo tried 7 of them, more than that. Buhari tried 7 of them, more than that. And they came back bouncing. HH tried 7. He came back bouncing. I can name but a few. And that is my issue. The what?
No, that is, I think, at
that is HH.
I believe,
We call HH, yes. That's to avoid the name twisting our tongue, and you bite your tongue, you just say HH. So, in a nutshell, Miriam, that is what I picked from that headline. And that headline says, Gideon Moi lights up. Did he light up? I don't know. Other panelists can tell me whether he lit up the sky. But I think there is one thing with the old parties. All the parties still have some grain down in the field. And they always convince people. Believe me or not, Miriam, the best person to convince is from Northeastern. Gideon Moi seems to have roots around the Northeastern Kenya.
it's married there.
Yes, from where he married. The Boranas, the Godanas, all those people. I think he can bring something on the basket by whipping, dividing, given that Duale is not seen in any of these meetings of the current charade that is dry with money. And that is my beginning. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Prof. What have you picked from today's papers?
Yeah, Miriam, that's a very good question, and the papers of today have given an indication of what is to come. Miriam, we are here to see, at the fullness of time, where this country is headed to. Remember, Miriam, when you talk about Gideon Moi is a prince. His father stayed in this country for 24 good years and 12 years as a vice president. And the way he carries himself, Miriam, is a gentleman. You could see when he's launching his presidential pitch, Miriam, who has attended. It tells you something.
Just hold on.
That he can be able to unite people. He can be able to bring all people together, Miriam. Mm-hmm. And this is what we say that in inclusivity, Miriam. And Miriam, do you know the colors for Jubilee for Jubilee and the Kanu? What is it? Red. What about orange? You know the color. Combine orange and red, you will get purple. Purple is a sign of good judgment. So I entirely agree with Dr. Masanga that Gideon Moi has made a good judgment of ensuring that we come together and take this country forward, Miriam. I was listening to some clip, Miriam, and say that we keep on talking about the big four for President Uhuru Kenyatta. I had one is saying that the biggest legacy he can leave for people for this country, Dr. Masanga, is peace. And that's what Gideon Moi is signifying. He's saying let us come together. Karonso come together, Musara come together, Raila come to, I even saw Sarah's Jirongo. So the future for Gideon Moi, the sky is the lower limit. He is leading a party with history. KANU brought the independence of this country. It was able to rule this country for the last 40 years. So if he walks the steps he's taking, Miriam, and being a gentleman whom he is, Miriam, if you come to my farm, I show you around my chick, I could be able to pick a cock. I will tell you this one will be a cock. And come some few months, will come and say, how do you see this? So Gideon Moi has made a right judgment. He wants this country to move forward. It's not controversial. He needs people to work together. And there's one sometime Miriam Mani say that when you are tuning the guitar, you know, those of you who like music. So when someone was tuning the guitar, the deputy president started dancing. When the rhythm will start, what will you do? There was a huge thing yesterday, what happened. And Miriam, it is good for our country. And Miriam agree with me that we need Mandela moment for Raila Odinga. I submit.
Thank you. Asamos, I wish. The headlines. Which one have you picked?
Well, thank you so much, Miriam Gutu. Thanks to the colleague panelists, also Dr. Masanga and Professor Onyari for the submissions you've brought forth. I think Miriam, again, my colleagues, one in lauding Gideon Moi's KANU for the step it has taken yesterday. It was historical in the sense that KANU's delegate converged and decided, of course, to endorse Gideon Moi to go for presidency come 2022. But that was not it all, Miriam. It was also significant in the sense that KANU is the independence party and a party that enjoys massive support across the country. Also came out categorical that they are not rigid in terms of coalition building in the run-up to 2022 general election. And there's something that has come out from Professor Jared Onyari, the aspect of peace and stability for the nation, which President Uhuru Kenyatta has been championing for alongside his brother Raila Odinga. And I think even yesterday you noticed Gideon Moi's KANU did espouse the same, but the biggest legacy, the biggest thing they can do for this country is to ensure that there's peace and stability. And if there's any sacrifice KANU can make as a party, or its presidential candidate can make as a party for the sake of the unity and peace of this country, they are going to do it. And I think they were talking about the unity of purpose, because again, Gideon Moi can choose to run for president as an individual. Kalonzo Musyoka can decide to do the same. Musalia Mudavadi can decide to do the same. Raila Odinga can decide to do the same. The question is, won't we be balkanizing the country? Is it not in the interest, in the greater interest of the people of Kenya, that we all come together, all these political players can come together for the sake of the unity of this country? And if you listen clearly from every speaker in that particular gathering, everybody was pointing to that trajectory, that we need the unity of purpose, and that all the leaders who are present in that particular gathering yesterday have nothing to actually champion for other than the unity and peace for this country. So, Miriam, essentially, it was a symbolic kind of event, and Dr. Masanga, that fact that you saw Gideon Moi and the entire OCA inviting Raila Odinga to be the chief guest for that particular event. In itself, it is really symbolic, and I think it's dawning on them eventually and finally that they cannot go it individually and win the presidential contest come 2022. They have no choice, but the only choice and option is to work together as a team for them to deliver victory, not victory for themselves as the 5 or 6 principles, but victory for the people of Kenya. I submit for now, Miriam.
Thank you. Samuel Tawish. And Sharon Gitonga, what has stood out for you, the headlines, before we get to what will, stood out for us in the course of this week?
Thank you very much, Miriam, and my co-panelists for all your sentiments that you've given out. And I think I can also start by, giving my sentiments on yesterday's events at Bomas. And first of all, I think I was so surprised because when, Gideon Moy mentioned that they have been in the kitchen cabinet for 20 years, I actually thought they would bring out something different, but turned out that, I didn't see anything, any different, any difference in terms of ideology, in terms of ideological, in anything that is different from all other political parties. But from what I could tell, it's clear that they've already let the cat out of the bag by hinting that there are very high chances of a possible merger for all the opposition bigwigs. So I welcome. I am fully convinced that these people are eventually going to back the former prime minister in his contest, which is a brilliant idea. Then to the deputy president and his allies, I think it's high time when he know that strategies have changed all the way from the mountain, and from the look of things, this race is for the swiftest and not for the fittest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why?
Mm-hmm. And
what is that word? Mm-hmm. What is that word again? The sweetest or the fittest?
Swiftest, like the fastest. Instead of it's not about you being fit, but it's how swift you are, because tables are turning down. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miriam.
Mm-hmm. I think
back to you.
Dr. Joseph Nyachama has joined us, if I'm not wrong.
Dr. Nyachama was here and then he went off. I think the internet.
All right.
Okay.
And before we move on, Doc, there's a story that perhaps we need to talk about that has to do with corruption. I don't know. You have something else you want us to say?
Yes. Something that came out for me again. Mm-hmm. The story of 784 million.
Yes.
That is a deterrent. That's very good. The man stole 140 million Kenya shillings. And he was fined 784 million. He lost so many. How many youths lost their jobs? How many youths lost their lives? How many youths went to coma? How many youths went to ICU? Several. Such people should be locked out, taken away. Appeals. At times I like what Museveni does in Uganda. The other day, his own friend was sentenced to 42 years. And when the appeal court tried to make an appeal, he wrote to the judges and said, let him serve 21st, then he can make an appeal. It stops you from touching the government money. That is what we want. That is what we are interested in. To see sentences coming up that shock your spine. A sentence like that one, or 27 years?
Mm-hmm. Let me just, Doc, can I read the background story? Because this is so exciting for me, although I don't know if he will appeal and he'll be out in the streets. But businessman Mukuria Ngama will serve a mandatory 7-year jail term and pay a hefty penalty of 900 million Kenya shillings for defrauding Kenyan taxpayer through illicit payments siphoned from a national fund intended to finance businesses for the youth. The Nairobi-based businessman, who is 48 years old, was yesterday fined 720.8 million Kenya shillings for receiving 180 million Kenya shillings falsified payments from the Youth Enterprise Development Fund. Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti also directed Ngamau's trading company, Corridam Limited to refund the state agency 180 million Kenya shillings, the amount that was lost in a dubious contract awarded 7 years ago. Ngamau and Corridam Limited never participated in a lawful process in order to be entitled to the payments. All the actions and deeds were within the knowledge of Ngamau, the magistrate said. Ngamau was found guilty of 5 counts related to conspiracy to commit an economic crime, unlawful acquisition of public property, and creating false documents. And the story continues. So that is what, and I think he was given a mandatory 7-year jail, so that he has to serve, and he has to return to the state. He has to pay 180 million Kenya shillings that he unlawfully received, and on top of that, he's been fined through the court. Where is that money? 720.8 million Kenya shillings. Now, that's how you deal with corruption.
Miriam, I think it's 27 years. I don't know. I don't think it's 7.
7 is mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
7 years is mandatory. After that, maybe he can, but 7 years is mandatory. That is according to, unless the Daily Nation has gotten it wrong.
For you, I think, let me explain here. For you to get any mercy, you must serve 7 years.
Yes.
Isn't
So you can be on parole or something, yes.
On parole, or the president can look at your eye. If President Uhuru Kenyatta wakes up at night very well, relaxed,
And no, he should not look at those eyes, Doc. Anybody?
No, I am just saying. I'm not.
No, other eyes, not a thief's eyes.
Let this guy go. No, Miriam, let this guy go on the road. Me, you know, these are the people that were you. You remember the youth fund? One man died with the friend of the president, who was the chairman of the youth fund. People said the president comes in to help. Oh, he has shielded. No, he didn't shield him. He was arrested. You remember Odiambo? The pianist, the man who used to play piano and a saxophone or something. You remember? A great friend of the president.
They went to school together, yes.
They went to school together. When he was arrested, the president never came intervene. And they even told people, let them pay the price. In fact, the man died and was buried. The president sent a message and appeared. It's his friend. But look, you have taken the money. I put you in a place. I trust you. Then you hammer people's money. This type of life should stop. I think the sentence was even smaller. Should have gone to 50 years. Onyani.
Yeah, Miriam, that's a very good judgment. But the problem I have is the word mandatory. Because in our penal court, you can serve the minimum and the maximum. Or you pay a fine, or you get both. So putting that word mandatory, and even when it is going to go into a bill, it will have problems, and the appeal can succeed because you don't give what the law does not say. But be it as it may, Miriam, the judiciary is waking up. They are listening to what we are saying here, Miriam. We want people to respect money which belongs to the public. And I want to say that in this country, Miriam, and in the judiciary, we are having men and women who will want to follow the law, who don't want to be the activists. So, Miriam, you cannot go get fictitious payments and you have no surprise. Why don't you do business if you are a businessman? That your work is to go and you get the invoices and you are paid? Miriam, I agree with Dr. Masanga that what happens in Uganda, how I wish that we introduce that kind of law. Even before you try to imagine that you are making an appeal, you should have served this particular period of time. Then is when you can appeal, and then you can say perhaps you have reformed. Let us hear you. But to me, from where I sit, Miriam, that's what I have been saying here. That's what I will continue saying, that corruption is bad. Corruption will destroy a country, and let people respect what belongs to the public, Miriam.
And what do you make of the bail conditions, the money, the fine that has been given by the court? Because usually they're given very lenient.
Once we find you, this the money you have done, Miriam, we double it. I don't know whether we triple it.
The court has quadrupled.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, all right.
Look, honestly, it is a deterrent. That's it. We are looking for a deterrent. Whether Professor Onyari talks of this is not the appeal. No. It's a deterrent. Let that appeal judge know that there is life. Let the appeal judge know that this man coming before you stole and made lives of the younger people miserable. Killed so many younger people who are supposed to have earned a living out of that money. Let him go and squeeze more. In fact, some judges now have run mad. They even give you double. One of the things that I wouldn't do in Africa is to appeal, is to go and sit and wait the climate to cool down. But if you go now, some judges like the ones in Kenya can make it double. Can triple it. Because you see, if you find a judge like a Juma Jacob, is it Juma Jacob?
Elizabeth
Juma. She is very good. In fact, I wish this man went through Elizabeth. He would have got double. 27 to 54 years. After all, Mr. Taylor, President Taylor is serving 53 years here, nearby my house, about 30 kilometers near from here, in Beromash. Yes, 53 years. So this guy of 80, 27, we shall meet in the paradise. Is when you ask, are you Mr. Bugwa? Yes. Oh, I am Dr. Matanga. You remember the man who used to do anti-corruption crusade? Yes. Oh, it's you. Yes. These are the things that we need. Miriam, thank you very much. Anything else on the newspaper that strikes out?
Maybe Tawi should like to comment on that ruling.
Sorry, Miriam, unfortunately, I got lost along the way. There's some network interruption, internet rather. I don't know if you can give me a brief background of the same.
No, we can give you an excuse.
Yes.
You sort the kids first.
Yes, just get to a place where we can communicate. Thank you very much, but no, thanks.
We are all familiar.
Yes, ngoja kwanza Tawish.
Tawish, so switch off the problem.
Oh, the kids are home. They've closed the school, I think. So now they.
Yes, that is where the problem is now. So let Tawish sort the matter.
All right.
And you had something else to tell us?
Yes, Sharon wanted to say something. Go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you very much, Miriam, and my co-panelist for your sentiments. I think I am slowly gaining confidence in our judicial system. They say the wheels of justice dance slowly but grind exceedingly fine. So I think we can say we are making a baby step towards, fighting the menace of corruption. And I think when we talked about tightening the systems of accountability and leniency, I think so far so good. But it's very clear Mukuria is not able to raise 720 million fine. So I'm sure he's going to serve as a lesson. And a wake-up call to all, the people that have been looting our public resources with no mercy. So, and I hope, moving forward next week, I'm looking forward to hear, what justice is given to, the KEMSA probe. And just recently, I think today I was reading in one of the papers that the Nairobi County Speaker is set to be summoned by the EACC. So I think we are making, baby steps.
The former speaker or the current?
Benson Mutura. He's called Benson Mutura. I think he's the current one.
Yeah, that's the current one. So
yeah.
Did he benefit from KEMSA?
No, that's on I think he's alleged into illegal hiring and promotions at the assembly. So I think I might I don't
also thank you for raising that. I've read in your papers that the EACC is looking for using wrong titles. Miriam, have you seen it somewhere there? Waluke says he was a major in the army. And then Baraza said he was a captain. Kumbe, they were not. They were privates. They left the army, there is no record. So Mubarak, Major Mubarak, is looking for them to arrest them. And written to Parliament that it should immediately, be told by the Speaker that the names that they are using is not the titles. They don't have them.
He was never in the army?
No, they were in the army, but they left as private. The
titles they're using are not correct.
Huh?
The titles they're using are not correct.
Yes. Why don't you be like a guerrilla fighter like a Matanga, whose title was given to me? I'm a rebel leader. You know, Miriam, you have seen how they call me. Rebel leader. But I have a rank which was given to me by the rebels and the Uganda National Liberation Army. My rank still stands and remains. Yes, I left with a rank, a rebel leader. When Museveni sees me like this, he starts having problems in his stomach. So that you better remain that way than calling yourself a captain, a major. Now this is a very big embarrassment when you left as a corporal or nothing. Now, so that is what is happening in the papers. Let's switch to international scene. Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. And before you switch to international
what came out for me, what is standing for me this week is Nigeria. Nigeria today is celebrating independence on 1st October 1960 something.
61 years today.
Yeah. It is sad that Nigeria is celebrating an independence when Nigeria is killing its own people. It is sad, Miriam. That's what has stood out for me. That Buhari yesterday, on the eve of the Independence Day, threatened everybody. Buhari threatened each and every person who was going to talk about anything against the Nigerian government, with labeling them as terrorists. Is Nigeria worth celebrating today? Is Nigeria worth celebrating today? The answer is no. Nigeria is a failed state. Nigeria is a state today where Buhari runs a show against the rest of the people. Abductions, slavery, Boko Haram, killings are taking place every day. If you want a place where you see better recruitive kidnappers, well-organized kidnap and the ransoms being paid, is Nigeria. Nigeria has collapsed. Today, 2 countries that should have been countries, 1, Amazonia, 2, Biafra. I stand with these countries. I stand with these countries of Amazonia and Biafra. Miriam, the biggest mistake we made in Africa is to allow these countries to be joined, 1, to the French, and 2, the British, to allow Biafra to become part of Nigeria. That's why we are going to have those problems in the Sahel region until God calls us to order. So for me, there is nothing to celebrate in Buhari's Nigeria. It is collapsed. It kidnaps people. It kidnapped this guy from Kenya, took him away. He is now in custody. We don't know what will happen to him. It kidnaps. Children are being killed. Women are being slaughtered. Nigeria is a failed state. On the other side, Amazonia is still struggling, and the independence of Amazonia is today. On the same day, we should have declared independence for the southern Cameroon, a state called Amazonia. The people there are still being discriminated by the French-speaking Cameroonians from Yaoundé. It is sad that today we look at these 2 great giants of Africa with great resources of oil being muzzled under conflict. That is the state I see for myself on the African scene. I will come back on African scene in another topic. Yes.
All right. Thank you. What stood out for you this week, Professor, outside of the topics that we have? I think Professor is just joining. But Sharon, the things we've talked about this week, and even on other African stories, what stood out for you?
Sharon.
Okay, she said she'll be busy in and out, so I think she's busy.
Professor,
yes,
then.
Professor.
Yeah, bring me to the picture because I was disturbed by my network.
What has stood out for you in Africa, anywhere in the world? Is it hiding in Lamu? Whatever you can tell us, we want to hear your story, sir.
In Africa, what has stood for me is that when there was the sitting of the United Nations Security Council, the General Assembly, there was a focus in Africa, and the fact that the Secretary General was saying that Buhari, you are the man to go and fix the problem in West Africa. Mm-hmm. It was like a mockery to me, and there was a serious demonstration to what Dr. Masanga has been saying in New York, that by people saying that all is not well in the Biafra. So, Mr. Masanga, more and more people are coming to our thinking and to wish the people of Nigeria very well. And that was an opportunity for Buhari to re-examine himself. How can I mess at home and be told that I go and fix the peace in West Africa? That one stood for me very phenomenal.
How can the Secretary General tell an animal that is killing people to go and fix other animals?
It was passing a message to it was a bright way of passing a message to him that there's a problem in West Africa.
Yes, that you are right. But Professor, this is a talking show today. Look, Buhari kills people. Buhari abducts people. Buhari allows people to be killed by his herdsmen. So how can he tell us? How can the Secretary General of a good organization called UN, doesn't UN, now it comes to me and it tells me that the Ethiopian Prime Minister is right. Ethiopian Prime Minister has sent 7 of UN people out and given them 72 hours to quit. Don't you see the problems in Nigeria? Are you not seeing the problems in Nigeria? Boko Haram taking our girls. There will be no girls in Nigeria in time to come. All the girls are gone. All the people have left Nigeria. Most of the people. All the brains are scattered as refugees across Africa. Biafrans have been killed every day. They are being slaughtered. Doesn't it occur to Mr. United Nations? I think United Nations is a stupid sleeping dog. I'm sorry to use those words.
But Doc, you brought in...
It comes too late.
Yes.
No.
You brought in the Ethiopian matter, and as we know right now, media in Ethiopia is gagged. So the only people who could speak out about what is happening in Ethiopia are the United Nations people, because they know they do have some level of immunity. And
yes,
Ahmed, so I'm happy they've been speaking.
Yes, it's good they go away.
And
because if no. Why do you want to see Ethiopia? Why do you want to see the problem of Ethiopia? And you don't want to solve the problem of Amazonia? Since 1961, you have not solved. No. Watch it to Ambiana Ukweli. Let's talk the truth. Since 1961, the problem, February 1961, the problem of Amazonia has been on the United Nations book agenda. Resolution 1608, which was passed that Amazonia becomes independent. The problem of Biafra has been on. We now see people in Nigeria, a falling state, a big state with corruption falling deep in the Atlantic Ocean. Then you tell me the Secretary General stupidly says, go and fix the problem. How can you give a man who is slaughtering people to go and fix problems at home? There are coups coming in West Africa. Another general is being installed today as we speak right now. Is being sworn in Guinea. We don't know who next. And then you tell a man, the same man who has encouraged the kidnap, rendition, but abrogating, destroying international law, picking people anywhere where he wants. Look at what he has done. Our friend Akipa is a man who used to speak with us. What is his name? Akipa.
Simon, yeah.
Simon Akipa has been gazetted as a terrorist because he was speaking on television. We are journalists. Some of us are journalists and we have to speak out. Our role is to speak out as the third journalist. We are not fighting with arms in Nigeria. We fight with brains and tell the people, the world, what is happening. The situation on the ground in Nigeria is not worth it. Africa must sit, the United Nations Security Council must sit down and solve the problem of Nigeria, which is a political solution. Nigeria does not need an armed solution. Neither does it need rendition, abduction solution. Abducting an opponent and killing him or locking him up because he has talked of Biafra is stupid, very naive and silly. General Buhari is stupid. I don't have any more words to say. Because that is what they wanted. They created a scenario to confuse everybody here. We have to say the truth. Why do you detain a person instead of solving the problem politically? The problem of Biafra is political. Solve it politically. You can't solve it by military might. Because with military might, you will cause another military might. So for the Secretary General of UN to tell General Buhari that to go and fix the problem of West Africa is like telling a monkey to break its forest, clear the forest, then remain naked. This is a violent man already. This is a dangerous man who has allowed his clan to buy pangas and daggers to kill the Christians. And you are telling me that I should keep quiet here. No. Guterres is wrong. You know these guys are pumped with money. I think they get gifts. Quiet gifts back at home. They pay their mortgages and they keep quiet about human rights. Some of us who have worked hard and lived a bad life, and we are still talking for the people of Africa, must stand up and talk. Nigeria is a disgrace. It has collapsed. All its people are looking for handouts. In fact, they will soon be like Pakistanis who are flooded in Nairobi. I don't know why, how Miriam, that one escaped you. Are these Pakistanis or they are Talibans? These are Talibans who were in Pakistan.
Yeah, because there's a section of that tribe that started the Taliban that also are in Pakistan, where they share the border.
They are called the Puchets. You know it, the Puchets near. That's where the revolution started from.
Yes, the Taliban.
And those are the ones who are going to bring us down. Those are the ones going to bring our buildings down. And now here we are playing with them. I'm telling you. I wrote an article. I said America is hovering over East Africa. Now, do you see that I was right, Miriam?
Mm.
Do you see that? I told you. If you look at Buhari, Buhari says now he knows the people sponsoring Nnamdi Kanu and other people, but he doesn't know who sponsors Boko Haram. He said Buhari the one who sponsors Boko Haram. A state machinery surely seated in Lamu doesn't know who sponsors who where. You should send Professor Onyali to find out who is sponsoring. You remember that project, Onyali, is very important. There was somebody calling me about that project. Do you remember? And I said, there is a man called Onyali who can manage it, not me. Because I would be very huge. And when I walk around in Lamu, people will know that this is Dr. Matang. But Onyali is a Christian, can disguise as a Christian at Sunday, Saturday. You can do this project.
I am. I know this guys, I am.
No, you can not disguise, but you can pass as a Christian. Very nice. Who you are a Christian? You that time they would have seen me drinking something. And then they said this guy is not you did disguise. What I wanted to say is you did disguise as a Muslim because you are not seen having any alcohol. And you can do very well in Peketoni. But me, I would be hammering my cognac and a pilsner like a one crate, you know. Then they will know that this man is a spy who has come to find some things about us. So they will come for me at night. So these are some of the things, medium hazards of research. So thank you very much. But on the question of Nigeria, one thing that stood out for me this week is that independence of Nigeria. It is a failed state.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And
it has failed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even as they mark 61 years of independence today. And the Pope spoke out this week, and he raised concerns over the killings that happened over the weekend and that happened, I think, over this week. The known deaths have topped 100. People are being murdered and butchered in their villages, and so this has been a concern. And Pope Francis spoke about this over, I think, was it on Wednesday, and he tasked President Buhari to ensure that his government offers security to the people, and we know Buhari cannot do that. He's been unable to.
He can't. Medium, he can't. Two nations, Abazonia. Once you give Abazonia peace, and you give Biafra peace, the West African states will rest in a complete tranquility. But as long as those ones are not, and I repeat, as long as those ones are not given peace, there will be no freedom at all. Peace in West African states in the Sahel region will be as elusive as the wind that blows which direction. Do you know where the wind comes from? The air we breathe, the oxygen we have been looking for of late. Miriam, have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen oxygen, Miriam?
It's invisible.
Hey, but let something suffocate you is when you can see oxygen. So Buhari, no, these are reality. It's a Friday show. These are things which are real. Nobody has ever seen. A professor here is a professor. He has never seen oxygen. But something small, a mosquito can make you not see oxygen. See oxygen very quickly. You know. Sorry.
And also, Prof mentioned something at the United Nations General Assembly. I think this year was the 72nd meeting at the United Nations headquarters in New York. And outside of Secretary General tasking Buhari to go bring social, political stability in West Africa. Actually, that is what he was asked to do. I loved what the President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, and also I think the President of Malawi, Lazarus Chakwera, what they said in their speeches, and they called out the Western nations and what they termed as the vaccine appetite. A lot of them are not going for the booster shot. And so these two African leaders posed and asked, there are countries in the third world, that have not even had their first shot yet. And you're here, you've stocked so much. You've done your first basic, vaccination, and now you're going for the booster shot. But the rest of the world, there are places where they don't have this vaccine. So that also stood out for me in what was happening at the United Nations General Assembly.
Miriam, before Onyari comes in, let me ask you one question. Where did the disease come from? China.
WHO is planning to go back there and starting.
The disease came from China.
Yes.
China is a member of the United Nations Security Council.
Permanent member.
A permanent member. To date, there is no country in the world, apart from Trump, apart from President Trump. If Trump had been in power, by now we would have known where this thing came from. You might regret, you might have called Trump names, but Trump had put China on the run, man. He had told them, you tell me where this thing came from, who brought it? Today, as we speak now, Miriam, we don't know where this thing came from, but it came from China. We know it. In Wuhan, a population of 80 million people. We have not been told how many died in Wuhan. Did they kill and burn everybody, or they threw everybody in the sea? 4,000 airplanes leave Wuhan airport, and another 4,000 enter as they leave and they go. This disease did not kill the entire Wuhan. China's numbers on the record of WHO, Miriam. Look at China's numbers. With a population of 2 billion people, the numbers who have died in China are less. Combined, in fact, you can combine the numbers who have died in China, in America, and Britain to equal to the numbers of China reported to have the disease. So, why has China not told us how it escaped the disease, yet they started the disease? Isn't it a very serious question for the international community to know? Before they go to now use the vaccine to arm twist African presidents. These are the topics that His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta is going to table in the United Nations. 1st October is Kenya's seat. Uhuru Kenyatta starts sitting on the chair today, and I believe you know he's not there now. He's left. He must be somewhere around there. When it wakes up in New York, he must take over that seat today. But the questions that linger today in New York, as the Security Council takes over as the chairmanship of the United Nations Security Council, President Uhuru Kenyatta must lead the sub-Saharan Africa to a solution of vaccine tourism or politics of vaccines. You cannot vaccinate. You see, after vaccinating everybody, we are now being given the leftovers. You see, what is the difference between Jesus, who fed the people at the port of Capernaum? Media have been telling you this story and that people did not believe me. Now you can see, you can believe me now. The people who came from the canoe at the other side of port of the Sea of Galilee, did they eat the real food Jesus magnified? Did they? Did you eat the real food? Did you, Onyari, here is a champion. Onyari, did you eat that food? Why is your place in Nyamira still the same way, while where I am here is tarmac? You can even eat food that falls on the tarmac throughout. Because these people ate the real food at the port of Capernaum. And it is coming back today. My theory is being proved right. They vaccinated everybody. Then they said, hello, Onyari. Have you ever worked for an Indian? Have you ever worked for an Indian, any of you? No. Wapi bibi ule Miriam? Wapi bibi huyo Mazanga? Wapi? Kuja, chakula inabaki yapi? Kula roti moja, sukule mbili, That is the life we are having now. Miriam, do you have a say about it? No. Are you going to refuse the vaccination? No. Did I write a letter warning African leaders? Yes, I did. You remember that letter? Very, very, very serious letter. It is historical. You should always keep it in your offices when you are writing your international relations lessons. I wrote a very strong letter. I want the African leaders that be careful. This thing is coming. We don't even have a hospital. We don't have beds. We don't have a blanket. We don't have what? Now you see where we are. We are now relying on handouts. And then you tell me Buhari can modify us. We are relying on handouts. The vaccine politics is going to divide Africa. The more vaccines you are given, the nearer you are to that country. Another thing, the more we talk about divisions on African continent, how many people have been vaccinated in Kenya? William, you are lucky you are going to have your second vaccine, isn't it?
This month, yes.
Yes. I have not even known how it smells like. If you are traveling, try to travel, then you can see the nightmare. I've not told you I did not have any nightmare. I had a nightmare. If you want to come to this country from Nairobi, my God, it's a nightmare. Especially if you are just an African coming for the first time and you have just got a visa from the British High Commission in Nairobi, you are in trouble. Unless you are the giant, a man who lives here who for forever, like some of us. It's a nightmare. And they are strict. My telephone, once I arrived here, you have to do the second test. It has just come out negative. Right now, to go. You can't leave. You see that? You see, Miriam, have you seen? Day 2, you can go home, relax. Put your nyama choma. Lakini day 2 is hallelujah. Because they trace you on the phone. They don't care. They don't ask. But from Nairobi, you see why it's good you have brought the vaccine. This is a time, a Friday is not for good show telling people this or what. It's a day to talk about these daily things, because tomorrow your relative might want to travel, or yourself, or anybody. These things are it is people like, I have an experience that when I return, I will look for Mr. Mutahi Kagwe, and I'm going to look for him. He has also become very funny. He used to be a man who listens to people, but he's arrogant now. And he doesn't know that we can bring him down. The media can bring you down. He has to listen. The type of treatment of an African entering Europe is worse. You are taken through so many things. First, you have to book a hotel. You are going. Even when you have a house. Have you seen that? I refuse. I have a house. How do I book a hotel? And the airline in Kenya itself becomes an instrument of regime change, of colonial You know, the airline is enforcing something which is not available, Onyari. It's not available. They are telling you to book a hotel. When you reach Heathrow, they don't even ask you where you are going. They only need to know your phone number, you have arrived here, they will trace you. You know, some of these things, as Africans, we create them, we create the difficulties. I like the Dubai strike. Dubai is very easy. Easy. You enter, you go under test. They don't give you conditions. The vaccine, as you have brought it, Miriam, is going to bring a lot of struggle in this world. Now that Africa is even begging for handout, leftovers. Surely we are given leftovers. And Onyari preaches to us that all of us are eating the same bread. In so many years, after waiting in Nairobi, Onyari, I ate bread on Sunday. And I drank some wine on Sunday in my church. St. Mary's Church, Anglican Church, down here, which was built in 1015 AD. I don't know what type of cement they were using. And they're still there. 1015 AD. So when I looked up in the wall, like this, something immediately frightened me. I said, as this man arrived here, I felt relieved. So look at in this church, and this is something, Miriam, you should propagate on your program. There is no money. If you want money, they have put a box there, donation. But there is a call for food, to help for food. And when I entered, I did not know, because my wife did not tell me that I should have carried the food that you have not. You have a lot. You carry even tinned food. I saw everybody going with a bag. I felt ashamed. Because there was people, there is a food bank, and immediately the car that collects this food to sell it, to take to Salvation Army Church up the hill, arrived to take food, plenty of it. Sausages, what? There are people here. Those Talibans you see there, they need food. They have arrived here in huge numbers. So the vaccine politics is going to be very difficult. And we as Africans and African leaders must stand their feet and say, we did not cause the disease. The disease came from China. Why is it that China cannot, just as China builds the railway, why can't it offer us this medicine free? Is that not a good question? Give us the medicine free. China should be loading 200 vaccines and drop them in each African country for people to vaccinate. So that is one of the topics, you brought it up, which is striking my. We have about 24 minutes to go before we finish. If there is anything, Professor Onyari, come in.
Prof,
but
go
it
ahead.
seems Professor is on another call.
Engagement, all right. And that's how we shall.
Let's continue with today. Miriam also marks.
I'm saying, Dr. Masanga, that that is a very good subject. You know, Comrade Robert Mugabe is no more. Muammar Gaddafi is no more, because those were the guys who could stand before the floor of the United Nations and they will speak the mind of the African person. But I'm happy that the president of Ghana is doing it, and the one from Malawi, at least they are voicing it out, Dr. Masanga. Remember what George Soros and Bill Gates, they say that you will see the dead bodies littered in the continent of Africa, in the streets of the continent of Africa. It has not happened. But in any event, Bill Gates ended up divorcing and giving the wife a lot of money. I am making a point that, Dr. Masanga, that Africa time has come for us to be treated as human beings. It is the moral obligation of countries which originated this virus, Dr. Masanga, that they support us, that we don't need leftovers. And this is a big lesson to the African leaders as we keep on talking through the demonstration strategy, Dr. Masanga, that Africa, we need to re-examine ourselves. We have what it takes, Dr. Masanga, to question and help our people. You are widely and you can basically bear witness with me that, Dr. Masanga, if we stop corruption, you know, this country, when we just stop, we lose almost 600 billion. Do you know how much we will, how many doses we can have? Even you saw the other day that the cabinet secretary, Dr. Masanga, Mutai Kawe, was trying to say that we have ordered for these doses and they are not coming, Dr. Masanga. So, Dr. Masanga, that this is a good conversation, and we must say that we are not properly treated in the nations of the world, Dr. Masanga. We should not be given leftovers, but it should be a moral obligation that the countries which originated these things, United States of America, China, and others, that they ensure that they have fed these doses for the people of Africa. I submit.
Very well. Okay, and something else happened, Doc, this week in Angola. Of course, the president attended the UNGA meeting at the United Nations headquarters, and he was criticized because the 5 days he was at New York, he had a budget in excess of $4 million point something US dollars for just 5 days for his entourage. If you calculated that to the local currency in Angola or even in Kenya, why do you need $4 million US dollars for 5 days for a country that is struggling and its economy is really struggling? Prof, we can't hear you.
Saying, Miriam, that this is what actually I'm pointing out, that the African leaders, they should be ashamed of themselves, Dr. Miriam. In the reasons that, you know, 4.1, that is almost 400 million Kenyan shillings. Do you know how many doses it can be used to buy so that it can be question the people of Angola? So the African leaders, and I want to retaliate this, Miriam, they must know that they have got people in the continent of Africa, they are reading, and they must ensure that they are secure physically and even they are health-wise, Dr. Miriam. So it is a shame, Miriam, that this is being reported, Dr. Miriam. And I'm saying, in Africa, we have what it takes, Miriam. Why is everybody coming to the continent of Africa? It is because our resources are intact. Why are everybody coming to Africa? This is where you can find cheap labor, Miriam. This is where you can find young people and young people singing for Miriam labor force. Why is everybody coming to Africa? It is because of the market. So it is a shame, Miriam, even for me to open my mouth and discuss this, that a president who is sane in his mind can be able to do this. You carry all this. In fact, even in this era of COVID, Miriam, it's not a mass that they can even address from their country. That's what they did last year. And even this year, it's not a must that you just go, but it's really a shame, Miriam, that our leaders can do that. And then we go, we stand before the General Assembly and say that we want vaccine in Africa when you are misusing the resources we have.
All right. I totally concur with you. And I think there's one person who walked the talk, and that is the new president for Zambia. He only had 2 ministers in his entourage, and that was it. just 2. That was
but Miriam, I can see Ambassador Gaina has come in. I don't know what he wants to tell us. Since Professor Maina is here, Professor Gerard is here. Let's let in Ambassador Gaina Maina. We are on what struck you this week in the world, either on African continent, in the world, in a place where you were in Paris now that I don't know whether I should visit you immediately. Are you in Paris right now?
Yes, Dr. but you cannot be allowed to come there, you know. You are not welcome in France. You are only welcome in UK.
No, I can come. There is nothing. They have never said. The only thing that I fear is the way the French kill people. They can finish.
Oh,
that
anyway.
Yes, they can kill.
I believe.
But my coming.
Thank you for having me.
There's no.
I did not get our friend Professor Onyari.
Yes.
Since last year, I did not hear from Professor. I don't know what pained him from Africa, but for me, I think Africa is doing great when you see where they started from.
Yes.
If we see from 1960 to 2021, we have made a lot of progress. Even though Professor Onyari want to compare himself with America and UK, but we are not there because those countries exist more than 500 years. They are into democracy. Now, meanwhile,
you have started wrongly. Maina, you have started wrongly on Professor. Professor is not in that mood today, this morning.
Meanwhile, what's the difficulties we are going to? We need to do a campaign to eradicate in the mind of Africans that we are rich, we have mineral resources. This is the biggest scam we are putting in our head. We are not rich. A wealthy person is who have a wealthy mind, who know how to build something. It's not somebody who have just material wealth. Is not wealth. At the end of the day, whatever we have as the mineral resources is these people we have to go and negotiate them to come and buy it from us. So mean that they will dictate our fate. Either we like it or not. Continent today who said that we are going to buy your oil, we are going to buy the gold or copper mine, copper, we want to buy the zinc. They know one African country. We need to go and sell those people at the end of the day. So they will determine the value of the market because we don't need it. If we needed it, it will be a scarcity that they will now follow our rules. But this is the difficulty we are going through, Dr. Talking about the vaccine and everything is okay because this sickness is not for us, has brought by from another continent. So we need to try as much as possible to see how we can reinforce our medicine, our health system, because we find out at the end of the day, we have to rely on ourselves. We don't need to fly to another country to go and look any hospital services. We need to build our system. This we have a planning. This we have an agenda. This is my question of the team. Do we have an agenda for Africa? What is our agenda for the next 20 years, for the next 30, for the next 50 years? What do we want for us? How many leaders in Africa can give you 5-year agenda of their country? None. They will tell you how are we going to do to be elected. That's the only agenda they have, to get the next election, nothing else. Today, you can go to many countries. People are talking only about election, only election. They never talk about how can we help the common mwananchi? How can we lift people out of poverty? Which country, Dr. Machanga, you see that the leaders, they come out to talk about how to lift people out of poverty. But you are seeing people rallying everywhere about politics. How are we going to vote this? How are we going to vote this one? We don't like this one. They spend 2, 3, 4 years traveling, spending money. Election is a goal. I'm asking you, his election is a goal. His election is an agenda that can develop a continent. This is we have been lied. We have been miscommunicated. We have been mismanaged to tell us those lies about democracy. He is wasting our time and our energy. You see, a country can take 3 good years just talking about politics. Take the example, either in Chad, in Congo, wherever in Kenya, since they start talking BBI, how many times you see people sit down and ask, what can we do to leave this county to make sure that we can create jobs in this county? When people gather, they talk only about politics. This guy said that, he said that, I'm better than him. We are only doing the waste our time, like we become like football now. So just tell people, are we going to live with entertainment? Me, this is what I discover in Africa. I'm not even seeing the Western. I'm seeing where I am. What is our content? What do we need? Our agenda, because we need agenda, and to stick on it. And we have a real.
We apologize for that. Just a bit of a technical hitch, but yes, it will be fixed. All right. Prof, you were saying something.
Ambassador Maina has disappeared in the French.
The question was, what struck most in this week and around the world? And I don't know when it was last in Africa. And Dr. Sanga, sometimes, you know, I have heard you because you are in Africa and you are in Europe. He has got no reality of what's happening in Africa. He's not free to think. It's not that we are outside. Our millions are being done. What is the minor? The question, what struck him most is the week around the world and Africa.
Yes.
And he should, when we speak, he must listen. We are in authority, we are in the continent of Africa, we know what we are talking about. It not being reported to us. We are on the ground. The fact that we are talking about direction, there is much going on in the continent in Africa in terms of infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Where is staying? The French people are the problem. Who are taking the minerals from DRC every other day? How many friends have come from there, Dr. Masanga? So as you live in diaspora, please listen to us, help you.
Now he's not online, so I don't know. I think he had a communication problem, but he expresses his views, and we allowed his views to take shape. And but one of the things that when I find him one of these days is to tell him that his direction of telling us Africa, condemning us, is also, you should change and balance it. Some of the things are beyond us, Miriam. There are certain things that you cannot do. Mm-hmm. For example, you cannot start manufacturing a rocket when you don't know even the pattern.
We want dams.
When you don't
to produce. As we don't want rockets, we want more dams to do irrigation and produce more food. Our priorities are different.
We need to educate our people. You should know that. But most of the time is condemnation of us. Our people, we are only 61 years old in a democracy. Kenya is 59 years in this October. 58, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Uganda is 59 October 10th. We are on the beginning. The only thing that I've agreed with Ambassador Maina all the time is I think we are not yet ready for elections, Jermaine. Every time in Africa when you talk about the word elections, the whole country goes frenzy, even taxi drivers start painting their taxis. It is not here. In Britain, when it's an election, we only read leaflets and the TV. There is no painting. You don't paint things to show that you vote for me. You send a leaflet. Give the post office to sort to every location. So, as Miriam said, we need things like dams. We need things, but do we really have the money to do these things? Do we really have the money? Yes. Some countries have the money, but they eat it. It goes in corruption. So we must begin by doing what Singapore did in order for Africa to rise and shine again. I think, Miriam, that gives us an upper hand. There is something that I saw which I want Stephen to put on the meeting between His Excellency the President and the younger man, the son of President Museveni. It also stood up for me. I am this side, and I am very happy that they have met. And I have no bad reservations, because that will determine one person who has been bragging around that he knows that family more than ourselves, who were even born there.
Doc, do you think, because I don't think President Museveni will be running for the next elections. So General, is it Muhonzi, has been very vocal, in the recent days. Are they setting him up to take over?
Yes.
And he's just familiarizing himself with the leadership of this.
Yeah, if he takes over and gives me foreign ministry, he will be safe. But do you think God also has given, has kept me to lead somehow? You think, Miriam, you want to stay there all the time reading news? You must be my communication. You must be my communication director.
Doc, I love reading news and talking about and criticizing Buhari.
First, I'm saying it for the sake.
Yes.
That look at.
I understand what you're saying, Doc.
I want that picture to be brought on the. Let Stephen put in the picture. I want you, when I become a Minister of Foreign Affairs, the first point of call is the daughter from CIA. She'll write my things, she'll read my things. Maybe he's cobbling out the generation that can help him. He's a Ugandan. Look here, Miriam. This guy is a Ugandan. If he comes democratically to be elected, and he stands in the party of his father, and they elect him, we take him. Look, if we are defeated, we are defeated. It is up to the opposition now, today, let me tell you, to go back and work and cobble out a network like the way Raila is cobbling the network here. Umeona mama? Raila is cobbling the network. Our place, nobody wants to cobble a network. Everybody wants to go for it. So if this guy comes again and says, the father has gone and Matanga, you are here, I will take it. After all, I've gone to school. Did I not go to school? I didn't go to school in a place where it was hidden. I went to school to a place here where I am. With my student number, one student number, which you can punch in, it will tell you where I went or I did not. And that's the good thing with the system, which is the British system. I'm happy. So can I all these things that I talk to you about international relations, they are in my head. Am I not worth to be a Minister of Foreign Affairs? Yes. If he needs technical men who can help, no problem. So I'm very happy that he came to meet President Uhuru Kenyatta, and he chatted with President Uhuru Kenyatta. He likes President Uhuru Kenyatta. He has expressed it. And that will also cut the ego of someone who has been thinking that he knows this family better than us, that President Museveni is my friend. Your friend, did you fight with him? You Ruto, you don't know us, Ugandans. You really don't know us. Well, boss, Onyari unaona, he's my friend. President Museveni is my friend. My friend, do you know him? Where did you know him? Did you know him in Nachingwea? Did you know him in Nachingwea? Or Ruvuma? Or Fronasa? Stupid. Where today? Wachana myo maneno yako. Oh, this is my friend. Telling Kenyans to embrace that he is my friend. Now you go and say, why did the son not come to see you?
That must be making Ruto very uncomfortable right now.
It doesn't matter, but because he made everybody uncomfortable. He did not know that there are people who call shots. Who call shots? Who call shots? The watcher. They could be in your position, but they call shots as far as Uganda is concerned. You don't be smart, Uganda. Have you ever seen me calling for? No, have you ever seen me calling for sanctions to go for my country? Miriam, have you ever? You have been with me for 4 years now. Have you ever heard me say, let sanctions go? I don't call for sanctions for my country. But I am the longest serving political critic, older than Besigye. Older than Besigye. Older than Besigye. In all formats. In age, in status, in starting to fight Museveni, I'm the oldest. So far left here, vocal. I don't want to tell you I'm not boasting. I'm telling you the truth. But I serve with constructive politics. Onyari, constructive criticism. Not criticism of calling for sanctions to go and make Ugandans poor and die more. Because you hate Museveni. No. There are good things that President Museveni has done in the region. Somalia. These boys would be throwing their grenades in Nairobi like potatoes. If Museveni was not there, he sent the troops to Somalia. Let's give him a credit on certain things. Security, water. My place is mountainous, Mount Elgon. There is water on top. That one I have got to give a credit. My mother does not have a worry. She showers every day. Have you heard me? She showers every day. Or she's being looked after. Water is hot. Is piped, is tapped. Something that I did not live there. Can't I give a credit there, Onyari? There is piped water. There is power, electricity. My mother charges her phone and I can ring her now and put her here. Where I am now, I can ring her because there is power on her phone. That is an achievement. So when you are in opposition, media learn to be critical. Look, live like Raila Odinga. Look at the enigma, Raila Odinga. I have written six chapters so far. I'm releasing the first one on Monday. The enigma, the man, I was a critic. But he changed my heart. He changed my heart when he went to shake the hand of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. From that day, roho imepoeka. Inasema yes. This is a statesman. I'm not going to go for a lumpen. No. A lumpen perotoriate can push a ugali, wheelbarrow, not me. I will go for ideas. So for in Uganda, we should be constructive. Why Uganda opposition can never succeed, Museveni, is they are not constructive. They are not united. They don't want to be united. They want to be it alone. The syndrome that Musalia Mudavadi and Kalonzo are trying to bring in Kenya. Because I want to run to State House. That's what Besigye brought in Uganda. I want State House. I want State House. I want State House. It defeated him 4 times. Now we have come back to Facebook. At least Matanga, me, I'm happy because I never practiced. I never said I want to stand as a president. I can do my Facebook. But the whole president, former president show candidates are on Facebook doing football. And another one is telling us, you know, it is because they did not know. They have not studied Museveni. Just as Ruto has not studied Museveni. He said Museveni is my friend, Museveni. My friend, Museveni. Now you can see the shocker. The friend allows the son to go and see your boss, whom you insult every day. And the son is in the same city, doesn't see you. So that is your friend. Sasa enda huko. Enda huko. I told you yesterday that lips will be white. Have you seen when you have no words, lips become white? Luckily enough for you, Miriam, you put on makeup, so the lips won't be showing. But for us men, we don't put makeup. Unapata mwanaume na lips ziko white kabisa, njaa imeruhumu. Not because there is no food, but it felt the dry, akili imeisha. That's where Ruto is heading. Because that's what politics is. You start a race against yourself. You demonize others. You call others names. Now, the catch point has arrived. You are caught in catch 22. Harun Ayadin was a terrorist. You never accepted. Now he has been proved. If the son of the head of state comes with dossier, that truly this is what was happening, what else will you tell your president? How can us kneel down? Ombe msamaha. to you on Sunday. Otherwise, God bless you, Mama, and the rest of the people behind there for having kept us for 2 good hours and 70 minutes. Thank you very much. For me now, I'm just going down to Surrey town, to Croydon, and pick up a few things. God bless.
All right, we'll see you on Sunday. Bye-bye.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.